A lot of people still want to put money into the education system, and they still want to try and learn English because that's the language of rich people, that's the business language. Or I'm going to learn French, and then I'm going to learn German, and then I'm going to learn this because Chinese and Korean, Japanese, all of those languages are going to be rich people languages. Spanish, a lot of people, like, people do things for profit. They think of life as a business transaction. They get relationships because they know there'll be money from them. They will date certain people, marry into certain families because of the money that is provided, the security, stability, and I'm sure it's okay because they're happy to do it. But it's just a horrible motivation. But we accept that this is true. We accept that nobody is going to come out and help us. We accept that we have to fend for ourselves and we're alone in this world. Even your parents can kick you out at 16, at 10 years old, and oh, you can be abused. Nobody's going to come to rescue you. I just want to drill that into your head that everything's bad, no one will help you, and bad things happen, you're alone. And don't forget, you have to keep up your credit score. And even if you don't have money and you do work a job, but you know that job doesn't give you a lot of hours, you can't find another job because good jobs are hard to find. Literally, like, you cannot really find another job. And yeah, maybe you don't have the right skills because you weren't born into the right family. Oh, were you poor? Were you not allowed to eat growing up? Oh, were you struggling with homelessness? Were you struggling with abuse? Well, we know people go through that, but you're like 20 now. Oh, and now you're 30, now you're 50, and now you're 70, and nobody cares. Nobody cares that this could have traumatized you for life. Like, nobody cares that you didn't have access to therapy or health care or even a dentist growing up. Oh, you had to work through that toothache? Yeah, you praying that it goes away. Oh, your arm hurts. Oh, you're sick. Oh, now you're coughing and sneezing and you're still going up to work. Like, guys, the system isn't working. And I just wanted to make this about people who feel like it works for them. Like, oh, my parents own a beach house. Oh, well, I don't own a beach house, but a lot of my friends do, and we're very rich people. And yeah, my dad did help pay for my college. And oh, I had enough food growing up. And oh, well, I wasn't so good before, but I'm great now. And I forget my life of being poor because you can work your way up, or whatever people want to say and do and be like, yeah, I budget, but I made a way to like travel the world and I'm so happy for myself. And like, whatever rich people feelings they share. And these are people who aren't rich, but they still believe in, hey, I'm gonna be rich. And rich isn't like, oh, I love everything I have right now. It's, I have to chase that new car. If it's not a car, I gotta chase that house. If it's not a house, I gotta chase, oh, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna be a famous model. I'm gonna work and I'm gonna be on Billboard for my music. Oh, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna be having da 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 da. I'm gonna be sitting up with Jay-Z and Beyonce or something. Or people have a goal where it's like, I'm gonna buy a house and then all I'm gonna do is rent it out on Airbnb. Or I'm gonna buy this house and then I'm gonna rent it out to students and it's gonna be student housing. And then I will always be able to make money and then I can increase the rent whenever I want and nobody can do anything about it. Or I'm gonna be a landlord, I'm gonna be a boss, but I'm gonna be a good boss. You know, I'm gonna let my workers, they will be able to take time off for themselves. You know, they're gonna understand that yes, we are a community, we're a team, and I'm gonna treat them so nicely and give them bonuses sometimes. But again, I am still the boss, the employer, and they are doing most of the work because they're gonna interact with customers, they're gonna clean the floors, they're gonna set up the tables, they're going to, of course, do everything that I don't want to do, but I'm gonna determine their pay, and then I'm gonna say, oh, you can make $10 today. Oh yeah, I'm gonna determine if they can make $12 an hour, and I'm gonna determine if they can get a bonus. And I will determine their time off. And if they don't show up for work on time, I will fire them. And yeah, they could have a child, but I don't really care. Yeah, they could be sick, but I don't really care. Actually, I'm gonna start caring a bit more now. but not too much. So they can only get 5 sick days. Yeah, that sounds agreeable. And like this is how people act, and I kind of just I don't believe in it, because it's like no matter what, if somebody else is doing all the work for you and you're trying to be a big boss business and then hire other people to work for you, those workers do all the work. All you do is just talk to them and supervise. I don't care. Like, the ones who make $10 an hour are the ones who make the whole damn company. Like, the ones who make $7, $2, the people in these overseas areas that build up computers for like a couple cents, the guys who work in the mines, the people who are working in the fields making our food and all that, like, they built the shit. They build the entire world. They deserve the whole world. Yet somebody will say, oh, well, let's flip it around. We're going to flip this whole system on its head. Instead of saying that those who work do good, I'm going to say those who sleep instead of working are the best. And that's what you should aspire to. But yeah, not everybody can be rich, because if everybody's sleeping and rich, then who's gonna work to keep them rich? I mean, that's the point. And I know people will work together and be nice and happy, and we know that people will enjoy like doing things for others because they enjoy it. But we also know in hunter-gatherer societies, which were the original equal societies where we spent a good 200,000 years of our history in, they did not innovate that much because they were very happy and content with what they had. They never really had reason to keep innovating and keep on expanding, because they were so happy and content with how things already were. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's bad to say, I don't need to progress anymore. I'm good right now and I don't need to do anything else. And my family will never need to do anything else for 6 million years. And in our society, we have to keep fighting something. Somebody's always going to cause us a problem. There's always a new thing. And if you read Affluence Without Abundance by James Sussman, yeah, he breaks that down as well. It's just stupid. But if you are actually content and happy with everything, we aren't gonna have that like rapid innovation, like, oh, we're gonna fly to the moon because we're gonna destroy Earth and then start living on the moon. Like, that will never happen. As well, people won't be having ownership in the way we do now. We won't really have money. We won't really have a lot of stuff like reading, writing books, all of that. Because people are just like, it's something about being content and happy where you don't have to really drive for innovation. And people like to say you can be happy and still want to work for better. No, happiness and work don't add up. Like, you don't have to work yourself to the bone and be happy. You can work, let's say 2 hours a day, less than that, stay cool for a week, and then be good. Like, and then work 4 hours a day and then be good. Like, there would be people who would, I think, work like 4 a.m. to like 8 a.m., in our time. And then they would be good the rest of the day. And when white people came over, they never saw them working at 4 a.m. They only saw, oh, these people just relax from 8 a.m. to fucking 12 a.m. Wow. And they don't know how to work. They're savages who can't work. When really it's like they always knew how to work. They just worked so effectively that their system was good and happy for everyone, and everyone was chill and cool. And I just think people really need to analyze. Well, y'all don't have to do a lot of analyzing. Just say this isn't working and be aware of it, and don't blame people for how they act, because the system has failed anyway. And like, even if I work a job and I know this is what I have to do, I'm still not gonna act like it's my end all be all of my life. Even though, yeah, I had to go to school in the system, I had to learn English in the system, I still am gonna know, like, this is a bullshit ass language. This was forced onto my people as slaves. I'm still gonna remember that, and I'm still gonna remember that yeah, this is what I do. It's called work, but am I really benefiting the population with my work? Am I valuable? Honestly, no, because the majority of poor people do not get the results of my labor. Like, poor people do not benefit from it, but rich people will benefit from it. And a lot of people, they want to say it's not the rich, it's the ones who are rich and powerful. But there are rich people who literally support this system. And yeah, they don't have power, but they are so good at fighting for other powerful people that they might as well be considered like the same thing. Like the people who want to fight to keep the people in power, I'm not their friend. And the ones who keep wanting to say, oh, well, I'll just start my own business and not criticize the system where people are having to work like multiple jobs and not criticize how, oh, just for somebody to buy from my business, yeah, I'm gonna raise my price to $70, but I have to. But those workers who source my company, yeah, the ones who get paid $2 a day or whatever, like $10 a month, yeah, I don't care about them. But I know for me, I gotta make my money and I gotta make my $70. Like, I think people need to just be a bit more honest about the system we live in, especially if they're like, oh, well, I'm gonna charge you guys $300 for my service for whatever product, and that's because I made it myself and blah blah blah. But I will say there are people who make what I do for $7 and they do that because they have to. People don't just wake up and choose to be poor. Like, why the fuck do people say, oh, it's because you don't price yourself high enough? No, people do price themselves high. Or people wanted to, and then they get beaten down into saying, no, you can never do this. You're never worth this much. Like, we have a whole society of messages. We have a whole society of, like, people repeating things to say, hey, you are worth $12. Hey, you are worth $8. Hey, how dare you ask me for a raise? Hey, no negotiating. And then you have others who can find rich people to pay them $300 because they have connections. And then they, odds are, have rich family members, have privilege to just sit out and go to events. And then they blame poor people for saying, oh, well, you just have $7 an hour because you want that pay. And I don't have that mindset, therefore I get a higher pay than you. It's my mind, baby. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, that's all I want to say. I don't like people who are trying to be rich, because it's like, guys, just be honest about the system as it is, okay?